Okay, so Corey Holcomb is going viral for saying Dave Chappelle bombs in clubs. I think is an unfair thing to say. First of all, I saw him live at Madison Square Garden, that show that was on the Chris Rock and Kevin Hart documentary, and he ripped. So he said he kills it in movies and the Chappelle show. First of all, Dave Chappelle doesn't even do movies. He hasn't done a movie since like 98. Yeah, he got huge and famous off of Chappelle's show, but he also has classic specials. How many classic specials does Corey Holcomb have? I'll wait. So yes, Dave Chappelle's flaw, or one of his flaws, is he's addicted to comedy. He's addicted to comedy, he's addicted to cigarettes. I actually think he does more sets of comedy than he does cigarettes. So you gotta understand, he's super famous. He's the most famous comedian on the planet, right? So yeah, he hops into other people's shows and like he'll go up after a Broadway show. Like insane. It's insane. It's insane. And yeah, you know, when you're that big, he probably does talk too much without any punchlines. And he's also not the first comedian to do that. All famous comics do that. So holding people hostage is just, I don't know, that's a thing that famous comics do. And he's not like a hardcore writer. He writes on stage. So somebody like a Chris Rock, a Seinfeld, like they write out every little thing and then they do it like a job. Like they go on and they know the specific things they want to work on and then they get off, which is a good thing to do for audiences. But what I will say is Dave Chappelle is an interesting person. Like the way he just sees things and says things, people like to hear it. People want to hear what he wants to say. Comedians are just interesting people. We're really smart when it comes to like life and philosophy and stuff like that. That's why we're so good on podcast. Also, Corey Holcomb is not that interesting, okay? His show is very negative. He's like the comedy Joe Budden. It's just misogynistic takes and yelling and screaming and conspiracy theories. He's like the comedy version of academics. He's just an angry man just yelling on a podcast and shitting on women all the time. Some of the stuff he says is true. Some of the stuff he gets right. But I mean, if you follow on Corey Holcomb for life lessons, then you're not going to be that successful. What I don't like though, like Corey Holcomb does not put out specials, okay? He's not going to get paid like Dave Chappelle get paid, but he could throw something up on Prime Video. I hate comics that don't put up specials that have enough relationships that could do so that don't, and then bash the ones that do. I will admit, the last two Dave Chappelle specials weren't great, but they were still good. They were better than 90% of comedy out there. But also, he's really rich. He's not supposed to be good anymore, right? When you're not rich, I mean, it's just like, how are you gonna be funny? You live a ridiculous life. Literally, the most painful thing he's been through is people not liking his jokes. That's it. Also, Corey Holcomb is not a good person. Like he said on a Big Boy interview that he got on a plane with COVID, knowing he had COVID, to do a show. Like he's a terrible person. He's a scumbag, but he's entertaining. We'll bet anybody to go to a Corey Holcomb show and to go to a real Dave Chappelle show where you paid to see Dave Chappelle and see which one you have a better time at. I guarantee it's the Dave Chappelle show. I think Dave Chappelle should get canceled. Listen to what Corey Holcomb has to say. Also, the best shows I've ever been to, comedy shows, are Dave Chappelle shows. I mean, he always has like bomb-ass openers. He always has like a bunch of musical acts. And then I remember like, he would have a comic like just yell out news stories and he would make a joke off the top of his head about news stories, and that just made me so much better. It was like, damn, I gotta always keep my stuff current and present and always be sharp and talking about stuff. And just even in his act, he had stuff that wouldn't be in his special, but that was going on in the news that he would just talk about. So it was just so fun. The best shows was when at Gramercy Theater, just a small little theater, and it was just a jam session, man. And he was going back and forth in the crowd, talking to Rihanna and J. Cole and stuff. So yeah, Dave Chappelle shows, you always get your money's worth. All right, that was just inside comedy stuff for the hardcore comedy fans.